Well, hello, gorgeous. I am doing a reading for today. It is Christmas Eve. It's officially Christmas Eve, people. So, I'm going to be using Tarot in Wonderland with the Wisdom of the Oracle, which I think works really well, these two together. As always, numerology and astrology. So, let's get into this quickly because my phone has very little memory, so I have to keep it under 30 minutes. And while I'm getting prepared, I want everyone to know I offer free readings, 100% free readings. If anyone's interested, if you're wanting one, just comment below. Let me know you're interested. I'll get in touch with you. I actually prefer to do them over the phone. I get a much better connection. My readings are generally a minimum of at least an hour. The cards get real deep and I deliver the message, whatever's there to be delivered. And then I can interpret for you what I think the reading represents. And then, you have your, have your own, obviously. So the reason I do that is because I feel like if you have a gift, you should share it. Number one. Number two, well, there's a card right there. Actually, you got to grab first. Number two is, I'm really hoping that when I do a reading for someone, that you're going to be super awesomely happy with it, as everyone has been thus far. And then you'll tell your friends, and then they'll get one, and then they'll tell their friends, and so forth and so on. And then I'll get enough people liking and subscribing on my page that I'll then never have to charge for a reading, which I think is fantastic. All right, so let me start here. We've got those done. Let me get my astrology. I'm going to just let Jesus take the wheel and let the cards tell me who I'm reading for today. So, do you think that's, there's just one card jumping right off the page here. So, there you go. Okay, Jupiter. Abundance. Jupiter represents abundance. We have a 1 and an 8. So 1 represents a new beginning. 8 represents manifestation. Together, the 1 and 8 is a 9. 9 represents completion. So complete abundance, which Christmas Eve, that's a great card to get. So we're starting off with that. Okay, next we have communication. So 3 is creativity, and 3 and 3 is communication. So 3 is usually the trilogy, is creativity, communication, and collaboration. 33 also represents the master teacher / learner. So in order to be the best teacher, you also have to be the best student. So 33 represents the master teacher. So communication is very important in that. So this is a big deal. This is like one of the most important numbers in a lot of different realms. Okay, 33. Next, we have another starseed number. By the way, that's a starseed if I didn't mention it. So if you don't know what starseed is, you can Google it and look into that. It's really interesting. Now we have a 44. So 4 is perseverance. So perseverance with perseverance that's the environment. That's what's going on around you. You're persevering, and then what's going on around you. So right now we have an abundance of communication in our environment. We have another 4. So now we have 4, which is perseverance. We have 6, which is love. So perseverance with love, domestic harmony. So we have an abundance of communication in our environment, which involves our domestic harmony. 4 and 6 is 10, and 10 is karma. And then there's our 6. So the 6 is coming in again. 2 is patience. Patience with love is a love partnership. So we have an abundance of communication in our environment, domestic harmony, love partnership. So that's good. That's really good. And then lastly, there's our 6 again. So now we have the 9 coming in. So for abundance, this 1 and 8 is a 9. Abundance. Now we have 9, complete. This is the card of abundance. 1 and 8 is 9. 9 is complete, complete abundance. Complete love. Remember, 6 is love. So we have completion and love, forgiveness. Complete love is forgiveness. So we have an abundance of communication in this environment, in this domestic harmony, this love partnership, where there is or needs to be forgiveness. Okay, and then this is 15, 1 and 5, which breaks down to 6, and 6 is love. So we have 6, 6, and 6. Love, love, love. Love at home, love in partnership, and love in forgiveness. So that's amazing. Fantastic. All right, we're using Tarot in Wonderland. And I love this deck. It's done by Barbara Moore and illustrated by Eugene Smith. It is a beautiful, gorgeous book, and I recommend reading it cover to cover because it's something. It really is incredible. There's a lot more in here than just the explanation of the tarot cards itself, and whoopsie. Okay, took the camera out. So, and I edged them. Aren't they beautiful? I mean, that color is perfection, and I just happen to have that, which, you know, like I said, there's no coincidence. Things just happen the way they're supposed to happen. So now as we're shuffling these cards, we're thinking of complete abundance, communication in our environment of domestic harmony in this love partnership where forgiveness dwells or needs to dwell. And if you notice, we're starting off here with the 9. 1 and 8 is 9. We're starting off here with complete abundance, and over here we're ending with complete forgiveness. Okay. Let's see what the cards have to say today. So wherever there's cards that are sticking up, whoops, there's one just before it that I missed. Then there was that one. Okay. So whatever cards are sticking up, some stick up barely and some are really like, look at me. So, there's one card that doesn't want to go away. Here we go. See how they're all flat now? Okay. Last one is on the top. First one's on the bottom, so we start on the bottom. Okay. 6 of Pentacles. Well, the 6, we're starting off with another 6. So love. Starting off with love and domestic. Right here. Love and domestic. Right off the bat. Pentacles represents domestic, which is home, family, job, money, domestic. 6 represents love. 6 of Pentacles is sharing of wealth, pride, coming together. So there is our 4 and our 6. So we're starting off strong. Next, we have the 5 of Cups. So 5 represents change, and Cups is our emotions, our heart, our feelings. We have the 5 of Cups. If you look at this picture, you can see how she's kind of focused on these up here that are spilt over. She's not really focusing on the two down here that she still has that are still perfectly fine. Sometimes we have a tendency to focus on the negative in lieu of the positive. Focusing on the negative does her no good. No good. So the change here is changing our focus from focusing on negative to focusing on positive. So 5 of Cups. Now you can see up here, we don't have any 5s in this scenario. So with focusing on the positive and not the negative, that's also part of forgiveness, because it's really hard to forgive somebody if you're only focusing on negative stuff. So I'm just going to set this over here for the time being. Next, we have the Tower. The Tower represents everything coming crashing down. Sometimes it all needs to come crashing down in order to rebuild it better and stronger and the way that we need it to be. So, meaning, you know, making lemonade out of lemons kind of thing, and it coming out better in the end. So here we have a 10, which is karma. We have the 5, which is change, and we have the 1 that's new. So the karma is change and the beginning of that. And then that breaks down to 10 and 5 and 1 is 16. 1 and 6 is 7. 7 is personal growth. So in order for you to grow, you have to go through trials and tribulations. And that's what this is referencing to. So kind of feel like this is more past. Another 5. We have 5 of Pentacles. So with the 5 of Cups, now we have the 5 of Pentacles. Pentacles again being domestic, 5 again being change. The 5 of Pentacles represents poverty, loss, hard time, misery, bad times. So that, I keep hitting this camera. That again goes along over here with this Tower. This is really strange. This is really strange because what's going on up here is a bit different what's going on down here. So I'm going to keep going, but I'm going to have to really look at this for a second. 3 of Swords. So 3 of Swords. Well, there's our 3. So collaboration, communication, creativity. 3 of Swords represents heartache, a truth coming out. As you could tell by the illustration here, it's not great. Trying to let you see it without all the glare. 3 of Swords. This is interesting. So we have the Tower, we have the 5 here, and then we have this card. So, now we have another 5. So now we've got 5, 5, and 5. A lot of 5s going on, and we have no 5s up here. So we have 2 different things happening here. The Hierophant. The Hierophant represents a lot of things. And I don't normally do this, but I'm gonna do that in this case because I want to read what the Hierophant represents. There we go. Looking through the looking glass, these days the Hierophant is one of the most disliked cards in tarot. People have too narrow a view of the Hierophant because traditional imagery shows his character as a Roman Catholic Pope. The Pope is a manifestation of the spiritual, ethical, or psychological teacher archetype, which is what this card really is. Philosophical. I hope I didn't say that differently. Regardless of the specific image used to illustrate this card, the Hierophant represents the underlying belief system that guides our behaviors and actions. Different versions of this archetype, a Catholic Pope, an evangelical pastor, a popular philosopher, a self-help guru, a motivational teacher, all share a similar quality. They suggest a possible way that the world works. Once we understand our own beliefs, then we can measure all of our decisions, actions, words, and goals against that worldview. The Hierophant as a card doesn't so much represent how to think as the importance about what we think. What we accept as the truth about the world determines our behavior. When our behavior is at odds with our beliefs, we suffer emotional, spiritual, psychological, and sometimes even physical distress. The Cheshire Cat explains to Alice how Wonderland works and about the importance of knowing one's goals. Some of the most famous lines, and there are so many, from the Alice stories are, "But I don't want to go among mad people," Alice remarked. "Oh, you can't help that," said the cat. "We're all mad here. I'm mad, and you're mad." The Cheshire Cat gives an explanation that hinges on the idea that no one knows what is real and what is false. When his remarks are pushed further by philosophers and other great thinkers, as so much in the Alice stories has been, discussions include the inability to know for certain whether one is in a dream while in the dream. Likewise, when one is mad, or we would call suffering from mental illness, it's possible to know that one is in a state of insanity. Is it possible? The idea of madness continues with the Mad Hatter and March Hare. I've heard that a basic definition of madness is when what is in our heads doesn't match what is outside our heads, or what some call reality. To be in good mental, emotional, and spiritual health, our internal lives, our beliefs, must match our external lives, our actions. If your beliefs are not matching your actions, that is technically a definition of mental illness. Where nowadays we would say if your beliefs aren't matching your actions, you're just strictly a hypocrite. Alice asks for directions and has no destination in mind. The cat responds, "Then does it matter which way you go?" Which is an interesting question, I would definitely have to say. So this card basically represents educating yourself, teaching yourself, learning, knowledge. And here's what's interesting. That echoes back now over here to this 33. Communication, collaboration, creativity, but it's also the master teacher as well as the master learner. And this card is representing education, teaching, learning, knowledge, conformity, So, yeah, so this is definitely about that for sure. And that's where I couldn't quite grasp where that was going compared to what we had here. But now when you read that, it's very clear where that direction is heading. So I hope you're following me on that one. The next card we have is a 6. So we have another 6 and another sword. So the 6 again is love. Swords is our mind, our thinking. 6 of Swords represents a time to move on, a time to flee. So needing, so this is what needed to happen. Okay, now, this is where we're at. All of this happened. All of this happened, and now this has to happen. Now this is what's going on. So all this happened. There was a time to flee. We really needed to dig deep and to learn lessons and to move forward. That's happened, and now we're moving in this direction. This one right here, this 6 of Pentacles, sharing wealth and pride. So now we're moving, and now We're not being self-centered and selfish anymore, now moving over to, and if it's not you, because you guys have to be honest with yourselves, okay? Sometimes they're the asshole, sometimes you're the asshole. So you just have to figure out for yourself and be honest with yourself. Was it you or was it them? Because only you would know. Because I don't know you and I don't know what's going on. So there's abundance here happening in abundance, complete abundance. So complete abundance of negativity, but there's also complete abundance of positivity, which is where this card comes in. Okay? There is 3 cups up here that have spilled and 2 cups that haven't. So there's more negativity technically than positivity. But the thing of it is that even though there's more negative, there's nothing you could do about it. Do you see how small she is? There's nothing that she could do about that. So to focus on this is absolutely a waste of time. Focusing down here, that's the only solution. Okay. I hope that made sense to everyone. And if not, I'm going to bring in some clarifying oracle. Oops, I think I missed a card there. I'm going to bring in the Wisdom of the Oracle by Colette Baron Reid, who I'm obsessed with and love. She's amazing, and she's a medium as well as doing tarot and oracle. And I've read her story, and she seems like just a really interesting person. Love to meet her one day. I'm obsessed with her decks. She did postcards from Spirit, which is incredible. If you don't have that, I absolutely recommend that you get it. It's super reasonably priced, and you'll just never regret getting it. I'm telling you, it's so good. Ooh, they're giving me a lot. Okay. A lot going on here. Okay, I normally don't like to pull this many oracle cards, but I'm going to read what it's telling me to read. Okay, so here we have 1 and 2. So the beginning of patience, breaking down to a 3, bringing in the 3. Okay. A change in the wind. A change in the wind. So that's good because we're changing from all of this to this. So there is a change in the wind. You see here, abundance, it's like whoosh. See that? Okay, so good. This is good. A change in the wind. Next, we have deep knowing, a 4 and a 3. So there's our 4s. There's our perseverance, and there's that 3 again. Deep knowing. This breaks down to a 7, which is personal growth. So deep knowing. To grow as a person, you really need to get to know yourself deep within your soul, deep within your mind, deep within your emotions. In order to bring change in a positive way, that has to happen. Next, we have a 2 and a 1. So we had 1 and 2. Now we have a 2 and a 1. Patience for yourself. Patience for the individual. So either patience, you have to be more patient, or the other person needs to have more patience. And it breaks down to a 3. Again, it's all about communication. This environment that you're in, it's all about communicating. If someone misunderstands somebody or misinterprets something, okay, then it can create absolute havoc for no reason. So knowing what you're dealing with is one of the most important things. Clean it up. Got to clean it up. See what I'm saying? Clean up the confusion. Clean up the controversies, the chaos, the turmoil. Clean it all up. Deal with it. Get over it. Move on. You know, and figure out a way to move through all that and get past all of this so you can get to all of this. There's our 4 again. 4. Environment, 4, domestic harmony, 4, perseverance. Higher power. Higher power. So you have to, see here, forgiveness. You have to allow yourself to forgive as well as be forgiven. You know, on both sides, it doesn't matter. On both sides, it's important. Because even if you're not the wrongdoer, you're not perfect. And you know, everyone contributes something in everything. So just because you didn't maybe create it doesn't mean you haven't contributed to it. Okay? So higher power, letting it go, letting the universe have it, letting the universe deal with it. Next we have thinker, 44. Oh my gosh. Okay, people, the 4s are out of control. 44. So we have, again, environment, 44, 44. That's not coincidence. This is not a coincidence. If you think it's coincidental, that's fine, but you're wrong. So, 44, the thinker, thinking. Master teacher, master learner, communication, thinking. You don't want to overthink it. You don't want to underthink it. You want to think it through intelligently, knowingly, spiritually. Think it through. Next, we have flexible. Flexible, 1 and 9. 1 being the beginning of the completion, which is 10, which is karma. Okay, think about this. What you do in life is going to go out and then it's going to come back. Hiya. So if it's going to go out and then come back, whatever you're putting out in the world is going to come back. So if you're spewing poison out into the world, you're going to get poison back. Do you want to drink that poison? No, of course you don't. So you want to be flexible to where even if you believe you're 100% right, be flexible in the possibility that you might not be as right as you think you are, you know, or they might not be as wrong as you think that they are. Flexible. The tree that bends in the wind survives. The tree that stands strong will break the hardest. Come to the edge, 3 and 6. There's our 3, there's our 6. Communication in love. Breaking down to a 9, which is abundance. Complete abundance. Come to the edge. So if you're not sure what this means, that sometimes, you know, you need to go right to the edge. You got to push the envelope a little bit. You know what I mean? Take one more step, try one more time, give it one more, you know, option. You want to be on the edge, you just don't want to go too far, because then nobody wins. Well, there is your very interesting reading for Christmas Eve. And I got real excited about how great it was starting out. And then it just took a turn. But listen, here's the thing. Life is life. And whoever needed this message today, there it is. It's there for you. You just have to be open to it, receptive to it. You have to be the person that's willing to let the past go and move forward. If the other person continues to do what they're doing, then they're bringing it into the present and they're not dealing with their stuff. And then sometimes you got to let them go and deal with that. And then you love them through it. But, you know, that's all you can do. If you're the one going through the hard time, then you can ask the other person, give me time, give me a chance. Let me work through this. I've got stuff to deal with, you know. Not in it alone. Takes two to tango, you know. But at the end of the day, there's a complete abundance in communication in this environment of domestic harmony and love filled with forgiveness. So look at all this wonderfulness here. So don't focus on this. Focus on that. What you look at, where you're looking is where you're going to go. Have you ever been in a car and you look over to your left and you realize you're starting to drift to the left in your car? Because where you're looking, your body tends to drift in that direction. Have you ever done that? Of course you have. So where you're focusing mentally is where your life's going to lean towards. So if you're knee deep into the negative pool, then you're knee deep in a negative pool. You take a step back and you're ankle deep, then you're only ankle deep. So that's the reading that I have for you today. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope I didn't go over. Have a Merry Christmas.